It's the Frick and Frack Show, a podcast for the fans by
This
the
is the Frick and Frack Show, a podcast for the fans by the fans.
Frick and Frack Show, a podcast for the fans by the fans.
All right, guys, you're watching the Frick and Frack Show podcast for the
fans by the fans.
My man, what's happening?
Hello. Nothing much, man. So I just remembered, I never fixed my haircut that I messed up on. It's been a week.
The bowl cut.
Yeah, check it out, man.
Hey, man, we're all about the 90s, and there's nothing more 90s than that. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, it's been a week, and I need to fix this, actually, man.
How's everything in your neck of the woods, man? I know it's Tuesday. Kind of feels like an early weekend, though, with everybody having Thursday, Friday off. It's, kicking it off with a bang with this big episode.
It is definitely incredible. It's been a crazy week, but it's been an incredible day. Just the excitement of having our guests on the show, and we all know him from so many different projects, and it seems like we know his brother as well, as many as he's done as well, and it's just really exciting bringing him on the show today, and getting a chance for him to tell his story.
Yep. I want to point out, I think we're having that StreamYard issue where it's not showing us the comments and the people watching. But just know, we love you guys. As soon as they come rolling in towards the end of the episode, we'll get to them. But as always, let us know where you're watching from. This is episode 67 of the Frick and Frack Show, and we have our friend, our guy, Sean Marquette on the show. What's up, brother?
Hey. What's up, everybody? Can I do the intro?
Of course.
Welcome to the Frick and Frack Show, for the fans, by the fans.
At least you didn't say it backwards.
Yeah.
They say by the fans, for the fans. I said,
I'm like, oh no, that's not right.
So here's a fun little trivia for you. Last week, we were live on air, and StreamYard, Facebook decides to say they blocked our video due to copyright infringement. And apparently it's happened again on this episode because our viewers are not here, and it was kind of weird. But
what you guys don't know is that I'm owned by the former Facebook Meta. And so if you even say my name, you guys get canned.
Man,
apparently
that's gonna be so crazy. The meta world, dude.
It's probably because of some kind of logo, some kind of brand. I mean, maybe this. Who knows, man?
I tried to go logo-less, but maybe my face is owned. Probably.
It's a product owned by many.
Yeah, that's great, dude. Sean, man, we're happy to have you. Thanks for being with us, especially on a Tuesday. We kind of had short notice, and you guys were able to throw everything together, so we appreciate that. I want to go back before the acting days. I want to go back. Where are you from, and how did you end up where you are, man?
Cool question. Thanks, Matt. I don't think there is a me without acting. I'm a child actor. Real proud that my SAG card says member since 1994, when I was 6 years old. So the majority of my childhood memories are centered around performing, and I have very few erratic memories of being in and out of public schools. I also come from a really wild, fun family, and so we moved a lot. And I can say my memories from before, I don't know, teenage, adolescent, adulthood, are a lot of moving around so that we could perform more. And my brother's an actor as well. And I have a middle brother no one knows about that we don't talk about. We keep him hidden. And he was also an actor for a time before he kind of moved on because it just wasn't for him. And so, yeah, I think I started doing a soap opera when I was 5 or 6 years old for ABC called All My Children. And then from there, started doing little bit parts in TV and in film. And then I remember there was a phase of my life, and my brother too, where we were just backup children for skits on SNL. So I have like a lot of bizarre memories of like being
Wow.
backstage, just like kind of waiting for your like name out of a hat to be pulled, and then you just like ran on stage and said a line, or just was a kid for all the actors to perform. A whole weird, like I got crazy memories of like being in front of a live audience as a child and just thinking like, God, I really hope I don't fart. I have those memories for sure. And then and then I also have some really cool memories of doing. I did like this weird bit part for the Conan O'Brien show as a kid, where I was like his like decoder ring boy. So he had all these funny comedy skits of like he would release this fake like secret code that like the children at home were supposed to like decode, and then it would cut to me doing some weird thing, and I ended up like one episode dressing up as Gene Simmons and like breaking a bunch of plates and lighting a small living room on fire. And then because of that, I got hired a bunch to be a young Gene Simmons for a bunch of like random events for Kiss. Wow. And so like I have some weird memories, guys. And like what I don't remember is like learning the English language or any math.
Dude, you named some iconic things there. Like you just like brushed past it like it was nothing. I mean, you said Conan O'Brien, SNL, Kiss. That's wild.
Isn't that crazy?
So where did you grow up?
I kind of grew up a little. I was born in Dallas, and then my family moved to Georgia for a little under a year, probably when I was 5 or 6. The only thing I remember about Georgia, we were in Augusta, is that our house had a trampoline. I remember the trampoline. And then we moved to Jersey, and we kind of lived all around Jersey for a while. I actually, funny enough, was just in New York a few weeks back for a trip, and I went back to the one city of Jersey I remember the most, Nutley, New Jersey. And I walked around the town, and I was like, it was like really emotional because I got flooded with memories I didn't quite remember.
Wow.
And I remember my family, like we commuted a lot through the Lincoln Tunnel from Jersey to New York. And that's really where my brother, he was doing Broadway at the time. And I started doing a soap opera there. And then we got into the SNL stuff and then some TV and film from there. And then eventually my dad at the time he's an engineer. He was working for the New York Power Authority. And eventually my brother and I started coming to LA for like pilot season during the top of the year. And we ended up like working here or there. And we saw enough success that my parents were like, hey, I think for the kids, for their career, if it would make them happy. And of course we were like, heck yeah, it makes us happy. We moved to LA and then all around LA. And so like the crazy thing about my life is that I never lived in the same place for more than a year until I was like 20. So even if I was even when I was in LA, we moved from one part of LA to another. I never had the same home for longer than a year.
Wow, man.
My parents are psychotic.
That's so fascinating to me. Like you talked about recording in front of a live audience. Like how old were you when you first did that? And I've always found that like Friends type of deal. Like you're doing like cut after cut after cut, or are you trying to, this is it and we're recording it type deal?
Well, I think it depends on if you're doing like multicam or like SNL type live audience stuff. Mm-hmm. You get a couple of takes, but that's about it. Like I don't think you really get more than 3 or 4. It's like a play. I struggle with theater because I think I lean more towards comedy and improv. And so I don't like doing the same thing over and over and over again. Which is why like multicam TV works really well because you spend one day doing the same thing over and over again.
Oh yeah.
Or for like, you're like serial multicam, like you spend the whole week rehearsing and then on Fridays you tape the majority of everything. And so it's a bizarre experience kind of reliving just now in my head, like what it was like to learn about that. I think as a kid, you're not like, I think when I was a small kid, like you're not super aware of the stakes. Whereas as I became a teenager and then into my early 20s, suddenly nerves hit you and then anxiety and then like the fear of failure. And so I think I'm much more comfortable now in my older age, but there was a lull where I was just like trying not to shake. There's a good story from Adam Goldberg, the creator of the show I work on now, who's a good friend. He cast me as a small role in Still Standing, a show I did a long time ago. And they ended up, I think, replacing me with another person. And he was like, when you were like 16 or 17, we kept asking you, because it was a multicam show, live audience, because we kept asking you to not fold your arms. And he goes, and then you go, oh yeah, sure, dude, yeah, no problem. And then like the line would be delivered, and then someone would cue me, and I'd say my line, and then cross my arms. That's a good example of like you're just fighting nerves, and so like, and I think you can tell like I move a lot, so like the hardest thing for me to do in my adult life is sit still and not move.
Me too.
And it's a nightmare on set when everyone's always like, just hit your mark.
Ooh, pressure.
So, like for me, I stand and like always shifting, and they're like, Sean, can you just? The camera's trying to focus on you. Man. Like, oh, sure.
Nice.
So, yeah, I hope I just poured information into your brains, but I got lucky when I was a kid to kind of learn a lot of that. It's also there's like a downside. I think now I fight like seeking too much attention. When you're actually put on a stage, then like sometimes when I'm just like me and a buddy, they're like, dude, you don't have to be so loud. I'm right here. Like, oh, okay. Cool.
But that's something that you want in an actor. I mean, so we've talked to a few people that would consider themselves an entertainer, I think is what they kind of explained it as. Almost getting like the bug, right? I mean, it's almost like you like people get the coaching bug, they get the sports bug, get the entertaining bug. I think that's what producers and people like that, I mean, who am I to say? But that's the type of people that they gravitate towards, right? I mean, I want to show myself what I can do.
Fingers crossed. I mean, I think it definitely lends it. Like I can be honest, like it lends itself to the environment. But sometimes I don't know, like when you're making a really intimate and like dramatic production, sometimes it's better to have people that aren't aware they're being watched. And so it's like that's the other side of acting too, where it's like you gotta let go of all of your ego and your like hosting and entertainer to just be a person in the moment. Which like I love doing, obviously. I think but I would prefer to just be fun and inviting and have everyone around me in the thing too.
That sounds a lot more fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see why it's difficult though. But one of the questions we were asked earlier by someone was they wanted to know what makes you continue acting.
Oh boy, that's such a good question. Wow. I actually really enjoy it. I think
very good.
It's something I tell my friends a lot. It's like I've had friends remind me too when you kind of lose sight because I've been doing this so long, right? It's all I know.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get a little down because you go through, like I've gone through years of my life where I just wasn't working as much. But you're still auditioning and you're attempting to create your own stuff. And in creation, you fail 90% of the time. And like, it's devastating.
Definitely.
But I think I enjoy the process. I'm lucky that I grew up with a lot of actors. And so a lot of my closest friends are all in the business. And I love it when someone's like, hey man, you want to come over and just rehearse a self-tape? Or like, I'm filming tomorrow and I got a lot of dialogue and I just want like someone to run this with. You want to run it with me? And I always say yes, because I just enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's something that I really like to share. And I always try to keep a running group once a month of people who just get together and read stuff they'd rather be performing.
Wow. That's cool.
Wow.
You've got a lot of friends who do TV and like me, like a lot of my friends on the Goldbergs, like they're 9 years into the same type of environment. And like, I got a buddy of mine who's like on one of those zombie shows and they've been doing it forever. And their entire life for 6 months out of the year is just running and crying from zombies. Like it doesn't stop. And like, you have to remember, like, these are people. Like you spend 12 hours maybe like, and then you go home and you're exhausted. And then years of this. And eventually they're just like, I just want to do your comedy. I want to do a family comedy because it's part of this thing.
It's a change up.
Cool. Like let's take a script that I have laying around and let's all just read it and have some fun together. And so I think to answer your question, that's really why I keep doing it, is because I actually really enjoy it. I would do it if there was if it cost me money to do. I would pay to do it. And sometimes it does. I think more often than not it does.
There's something like, we all love, there's things in this life that we all love to do. What I refer to it as, like, for me, it's like singing and things like that. And it's my great escape, and it sounds like it's yours as well. with acting, because for acting, you can escape. You can't escape the person you are. You can become someone else. And like you just said, like when you guys have get-togethers, that's pretty amazing, man.
Yeah, it's really fun. I think you can learn a lot too.
Sure, definitely.
And I've never considered myself like that good of an actor, but like I do.
Who does?
Myself and like I think that
I mean,
have fun with characters. I think everybody's got like something to offer. And it's my favorite thing to be in a group full of people who are different than you, and you learn from them and absorb their stuff. And everybody steals a little bit from each other, but sometimes you come up with something really brilliant when sharing.
Man.
Isn't that cool?
So like I hear a lot, people got their start in improv class or acting class or this or that. But you had said something twice now, the self-tape. I can't remember who brought it to our attention, what episode it was, but they had said when they changed to self-tape, everything kind of changed for them. Can you kind of talk about, the process of the self-tape and going back to when you were a kid and having to do it the old school way?
Yeah. So I think growing up kind of doing live environment stuff, the majority of my career as an actor, you get an audition, you get it used to be a fax, right? We had this fax machine with like, and all you get like your little paper. And I'm like, oh, I've got what I need. And you start studying the character, and I would go with my mom or my dad or my brother, and I'd be like, here's the breakdown of the story, and here's the breakdown of the character. And then here's all the dialogue. And the first thing I would do is just memorize the dialogue. And then I would go through and like try to read the scene descriptions. Then you build your environment. And then eventually you do all this stuff at home with a buddy or with a parent. And then you go to a casting director's office. And of course they throw 1,000 things at you that you weren't thinking about. They were like, here's the kind of notes that aren't on the page. Let's do a rehearsal. Let me give you some notes to change what you were doing. Oh, I liked this choice of yours, but can you deliver it this way? Not to give you a line reading, but here's a suggestion. And so you're very used to kind of being malleable and relying on another casting director to kind of work with you to try to build something. And then you're not thinking about being recorded. There's always kind of a camera there, but you're working with someone and they're in a scene with you. And that's kind of where my focus always was. And then as technology progressed and as like things became more, I guess, international, you started to kind of have to take that role on yourself where, especially if there was an actor being cast on something and then like the night before shooting, they got sick, hurt, or were moved on to a different project or things didn't work out. And suddenly the entire production is going like, we have to have an actor tomorrow. Let's get everybody self-taping tonight, And so you're getting sides at like 6 p.m. and they're like, have this on tape and downloaded or uploaded in 2 hours. And so that was kind of, and I think growing up too, like I got to be honest, like I hated self-taping. I didn't like watching myself. I don't know anyone who does. Any one of like, I got a couple of friends that really like watching their self-tapes, and I'm like, you scare me.
Psychopath.
Yeah,
that is very scary.
And so it's been an adjustment. I think the pandemic really opened my eyes to being willing to take more control over self-tapes, where it's really important that you choose a good reader that you trust, that you give yourself enough time. And like, I don't know, like certainly like casting directors and producers and people and directors and other actors, they know how much time really goes into self-taping and the effort, like the cost, like over time, you're like when a box light goes out, it's like another $100 down the drain. And so it's been, I think, really rewarding in a way. Like the one big benefit of the pandemic for me was that I was really able to hone the skills of doing self-tapes, where most of my life is kind of an erratic extrovert. I just didn't care, which is like really bad. I look back on that and be like, wow, I wish I could tell my younger self to take that stuff more seriously. I probably lost out on a lot of really amazing opportunities because I didn't take self-tapes seriously. Yeah, I just was like, I don't want to watch myself. I don't want to learn how to edit. This is like some other person's job. And look, granted, it's gotten a lot easier, right? Like I shoot with my iPhone, I edit on iMovie, and like I have a friend and I like we kind of share the efforts of the microphone and the lights, and everything's a lot easier than it was 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh yeah, because everybody has this kind of setup nowadays too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I found, and found the right kind of people to surround myself with who are positive about self-taping, because it's like in anything in life, if you're around people who are negative about it, you're going to feel negative about it. But if you find the right people who are like, hey, well, here's what I do, and here's how I make it really fun, and here's how I've learned to kind of give myself a leg up and make the experience more enjoyable, suddenly it's become something that's like second nature and that I really appreciate and I'm proud of.
Wow.
I look forward to self-tapes now. I'm like, oh, cool. And like now there's this thing where like taking a little bit of control of your own creativity is extremely rewarding, even if you don't end up doing the project.
Definitely.
Man,
yeah,
it's nuts.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's crazy. Like such a big transition.
It really sounds like a lot of work. Just everything you just named about what goes into self-tape, because we really weren't familiar with that. It made me kind of swallow something in my throat, because I was like, oh. yeah, it's definitely cool though, man. But I guess what I wanted to ask was, when you were a kid, what was this always something that you wanted to do?
I think, yeah. I mean, obviously, like I remember, like the best way to describe how much I enjoyed it is it always felt really weird when you were outside of the acting environment. Like when you're a professional on set with adults, you're treated as such. And so when I went back to public school, where there was this weird behavioral change with like teachers, and you called everybody Mr. or Miss or Mrs. And you had to there were all these rules of etiquette that when I was 10 hours of my day not in school, this didn't make any sense to me. Why can't I just call you your first name? And why do I have to raise my hand? Like, we're people, we just talk to each other. I don't understand though. It caused a lot of problems. And so I always enjoyed being on set. I wasn't thinking, like, the best advice I give to people younger than me is always like, just get out of your head. Don't think about yourself. Yeah. And so when I was on set, I always had something to focus on that wasn't myself. And so I always really enjoyed it, and I felt at home there. It felt like safe in a weird way. Whereas outside of set, building an identity as a human being, and especially kids your own age who have a very different experience. And I moved a lot. You're always the new kid in school, and you were an actor, and it was like a weird thing for other children to understand. And we had nothing in common. And I think it was really weird being outside of it. So it's I think, why do I keep doing it? One, the experience was always really fun. I got to dress up. I got to be other people. I got to make people laugh. I got to explore my own emotions. I got to do it with my brother, both of them. My parents were always really encouraging. I met some of the coolest people. I've been all over the world. There's so much to it that's really special.
Wow.
And so I only ever really considered not doing it when you hit your teenage angsty years of rebellion. I don't know if this is who I am, I'm gonna go get a real job with the bros. And hours into Hollywood video, you're like, why the hell am I here? Nobody does this because they were like, what my dream was? To rent tapes to all the people who want to be doing the things I was just doing. I got to go back into acting right now. Wow. And so I think that, and then I think too is when suddenly you fall back in love with it at different points in your life. And then it gets taken away from you, and you really start to appreciate it. I remember in my early 20s, I hit puberty so late. So I had crooked teeth, and I started getting acne, and I was overweight, and I was stealing my feelings. But I was just young and dumb. And I had to go get a real job and rebuild my life in a different way. And you get more appreciative now that I've got an opportunity to work consistently enough. So now whenever I get a chance, I just give it all of my attention and try to be as respectful and as kind and as supportive to everyone else as well. Because I was fortunate enough to have this thing growing up that you don't really realize is super special and really important to yourself. And then, you go through phases where I was describing when I was younger, you just don't understand or appreciate exactly how rare the opportunity is.
It's kind of hard though in a lot of ways, you know. I mean, it's just like us having the jobs we do. There's days we love it, and there's days we don't. There's times where we're like, "This is who I am," and then there's times where we're like, "This is not who I am. I just want to go to New York and go on Broadway." You know, like it's every day, you know, ever changing. You know, I guess that's one of the very few similarities we have with your job versus ours, but you know, it's the truth though, you know.
Yeah, I really think so. And it's funny when you say, I just can't stop thinking. You're like, and you know, sometimes I just want to go to New York, and my thought was, and eat pizza, and eat so much pizza.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, but I didn't want to be rude, but yes, I mean, just go and look up Barstool's 100 top places and just.
So I had this childhood memory from when I was like 7 to 9, 10 years old of this place in Nutley, New Jersey called Ralph's Pizzeria. And
I've been to Ralph's, but not Nutley.
Yeah. And I had this memory that it was the greatest pizza on earth.
Wow.
And I've eaten a lot of pizza since I'm a foodie and a pizzaholic. And I went back a couple weeks ago, and it is actually still an incredible pizza. And I know that like a Barstool Sports guy is like a little bit misogynistic and just not like, I'm not the biggest fan. Not that like, oh man, we probably get along. I don't like I'm not trying to put shade on anybody. But I do use the One Bite app because it is a reliable source for a good bite of pizza. And even he gave it like an 8-9.
Ooh, and he's hard on.
Oh yeah,
this is phenomenal.
If anyone listening or you guys ever find your way to Nutley, New Jersey, you go to Ralph's Pizzeria and you have some of the best pizza in your entire life. It's so good.
I've been to about 10 or 15 different Ralphs in New York. Ralph's Pizzerias, and you know that's the thing about New York, man. Everyone, you know, like the funniest thing ever. Everywhere you go, it's like Luigi's #1, or you know, everything is #1 pizza. And I remember going to Luigi's in the Bronx. And I remember asking the guy, because, you know, he was the very first person I met in New York who was actually nice. And I was like, who gave y'all #1, the #1 award and everything? And he's like, me. And I was like, oh.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. I love that.
So, but that's what he said. He said, everyone puts that there because it attracts people like you. And I was like, oh, okay. I said, well, you got me. And it wasn't good pizza though. It was a dollar slice though. So, you know, you're going in there.
Sometimes I think like a dollar slice of pizza is actually better than the majority of pizza, partly because it's $1.
Yes. And you can get like 4 for the price of 1.
Right. Like if I can get a pretty good slice of pizza for $1 and not have to buy a $15 pie that was just fine, I'll take the dollar pizza.
Especially like 24 inches, you know, it might be like $15. And it's like, what are you going to do with a 24-inch pizza?
Yeah.
You know,
I love pizza so much that I don't know if most people who have ever like paid me money to perform knew that they could pay me in pizza far less. Like if they were just like, hey man, we're going to have even just like, we'll just have like a Pizza Hut pan waiting for you every day. And you'll show up. I would.
Man, we'll definitely edit that part out because we don't want people assuming this.
What if I wanted to pay it in pizza?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, look, I'm a pizzaholic myself, man, and I get very upset because I live in Louisiana. We live in a small city. We don't have a pizzeria here.
Oh gosh,
we have one that's like 15 minutes away, but I went and took my my girlfriend's brother a couple weeks ago, and we got the buffet. And how the buffet works is they actually bring out the pizzas, and so we got about like 8 different pizzas brought to us, and all of them were completely raw. You can do this with the dough, and the dough was coming up with the flour.
It's just like Wonder Bread ketchup and someone's dry butter. It's not even cheese. Eventually it'll turn into cheese.
Yeah. we couldn't even eat it, man. We couldn't even eat it. But you know, New York, Vicky and I have been in New York a lot of times. We'll be going back shortly in January or February, actually. And that is the #1 goal. Eat as much pizza as I can.
Love it. Well, yeah. I saw part of me is like thinking like maybe someone's watching this and is like, either we're so sick of hearing Sean talk about pizza. Just to redirect us, like, do you guys have, can we, like, you have any other questions for me not about pizza? Because I'll spend an hour talking about pizza.
I mean, you can't go wrong with it. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with a pepperoni pan pizza from Pizza. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
There is so much wrong with it, but we're gonna agree to disagree there.
I want to go talk about 13 going on 30, man. You know, I know Caleb talked about just watching it again this last week, but being cast on that, did it maybe change your trajectory of where you were going? Or, I mean, did it just kind of help launch you to where you want to be?
Yeah, I don't think there's any world in which you can say it didn't. And certainly being a part of such a really good movie lends a credibility to you that you don't get. Even I'm 33 now. I did that when I was 16 or 17. Like it's still beneficial to me in my career.
Wow.
And the experience itself was even more beneficial to me as a person. And so, yes, it's extremely influential and I'm really proud of it. I got lucky. So the really cool story about that most people don't know is that I was recast. They had actually shot the entire front and back of the movie with a whole nother cast of young kids. And I don't know quite who was involved, but I know that the director kind of explained like it just wasn't right. That it wasn't as seamless as they wanted to. So I really wanted an opportunity to get it right again. And the director, Gary, was a big fan of my brother. And I remember he brought me in because he wanted to cast my brother who was just too old. And then he was like, well, let me see his younger brother because that's just kind of who I envisioned was my older brother. So I got lucky in that regard as well. That sometimes your older brother's shadow is more of a shield and perhaps like a really easy ladder to climb. And so I'm really lucky for both my brother and his relationship with director. And they had done a really amazing movie together in New York years prior. And so they had a great relationship. So that was very lucky. And then, of course, the audition process was really amazing where Gary in particular was really able to communicate very well to me. I can look back at that now and be like, man, to talk to a 16-year-old kid that way and give that kid confidence and then like pull out of him this, like, I was a little weird and nerdy, but to really pull that out of me is another level. And so it's really interesting looking back at that and being like, wow, one, the movie was already done by the time I got involved.
Wow.
And after the auditioning process, and then finding out like, hey, we do want to move forward, but one last hitch, we want you to meet Mark Ruffalo, and he wants to talk to you. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'll just go meet a really famous actor. Great. And then he was also so incredible. And he sat down with me for a few hours and we watched the film. And he clocked little stuff to me where he was like, hey, so originally I was basing a large part of my posture and my performance on the actor before you. And he goes, and now that you're coming in to basically be me younger, you're kind of doing like an Inception level here. Where like I was pretending to be someone, now you're gonna pretend to be me pretending to be someone. So like a couple moments in the movie where we're walking where like my hands are in my pockets and my shoulders are up, and I have a little bob. That was a thing that Mark really suggested to me, and we walked through and he taught me, and like so it was really incredible at that age to work with another actor that's seasoned. Because I think at 16, I wasn't thinking about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think at that age too, when you've got someone like an adult giving you all kinds of information and cues, every kid typically goes, yeah. And in my head, it was like, whoa, no way. I leveled up. This guy has no idea. He's hit like level 3. And you're trying to be cool and be like, oh yeah, got it, man. No problem. Let's do it. Which like is not in my head. I was like, oh my God, I hope I don't mess it up. I really hope I don't fart. And so like it was such an unique experience. And then on top of all of that, they were like, hey, we're gonna perm like not perm, they're gonna like straighten your long hair, and we're gonna put a fat suit on you because you're not fat enough. So they put this big pillow on me, and then this like woolly red sweater that I'm famously wearing in the movie, and they had me in a bunch of sweaters because I was wearing this pillow, and like the pillow's hot. The sweater's hot. The long hair that's flattened down your head is hot. And suddenly I was like, I felt like a cool kid because I was a teenager. And then I was like, oh, I'm like really nerdy now. I am like really leaning into who I truly am. And I'm exposed.
Wow.
And then I got to work with Krista, it's funny because she's a good friend now and so lovely and such a good person. And she's also really close with one of my closest friends. So we just know each other really well. When we met, I was 16 and Krista, I think, was like 12 or 13. And like the age difference between like 35 and 25 is like big. Age difference between like 35 and 45, it's less. 55, 45, it's meaningless. but like 12 to 16 is like light years. You know?
Yeah.
And I remember the director was like, hey, like, let's do a rehearsal. Do you mind like practicing the kiss around the Barbie house? And I remember being like really nervous, and then even more nervous because she was so much younger than me.
Yeah.
Like right around 16 in my personal life, I was like just experimenting with like kissing and making out. And here I am now with like a 12-year-old, 13-year-old girl who is sweet and pretty, but like is a child. And I'm in the middle of trying to pretend like I'm a man. And so like it was just weird.
Yeah.
But then ultimately, you know, I want to give all the credit to Gary, who like really just made it an experience and a performance. And then when you watch the movie, I look back on it now in my adulthood, I'm like, wow, this is really, it's so special. It's so hard to do that, to make movies like that, especially with younger performers. So yeah, I'm really proud of it. What a crazy experience. I haven't thought about all that stuff in a long time, man.
I was thinking about your mannerisms last night. I like to observe really, like, you know, when it comes down to film, I'm such a film critic. I'm very harsh at it, but like, you know, I was observing your mannerisms and I was like, my goodness, you and Mark Ruffalo, you know, twins in every single way, the way you walk, the way y'all step, you know, in the shoes, every single step. Like you said, the pockets with the hands. I mean, and then to find out like that wasn't, you know, that was
by design.
Yeah, by design, man. Like,
yeah,
you know, it's crazy to me, but I mean, it's one of my absolute most favorite movies ever. I mean, you know, it is a truly iconic movie in every sense. Music. I mean, Jennifer Garner at that time was taking a break. She was on a hiatus or in between seasons of Alias at the time. And like, you know, you watch Alias and then she goes to that. And like, you know, it's again a transformation.
What I was saying earlier is like I can't imagine how like, and you can tell too in the movie how much fun she was having. Like that comes through because I imagine
acting,
spending like years just like beating up bad guys and pulling out guns, and espionage. She got to do a movie about like coming of age, and love and romance and comedy and like energy and fun. And like I can't imagine how much fun she had.
It looked like they just said, just go, you know, like be a kid, you know, pretend like you're a 13-year-old kid. And she nailed it. I mean, and what's so crazy is, you know, the young Jenna, you know, and her still look exactly the same in so many ways. It's creepy. Okay. It's creepy. Good word. Creepy.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. They're twins.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely time for a 13 going on 30 part 2, you know, just saying. I don't like sequels, but I would root for that one.
I'm in. You know what's funny is I actually never got to meet Jennifer Garner. I've always been very excited, but maybe one day we'll have that connection. We can say hello and just tell her what a fan I am. But I got really unlucky when the premiere of the movie happened. I think they did it. I can't remember where they did it. I think it was actually in somewhere in LA in like Brentwood. There's like a big theater over there. I can't remember the name. I don't know why. I should know. I live here. But there was a big premiere, and my dad, I blame my father. It was the two of us, but we were late, and they wouldn't let me in. Security wouldn't let me into the movie premiere. I never got to see the whole movie. I never got to celebrate with the cast or go to the wrap party. None of it. They wouldn't let me in.
Wow. You probably never let that down.
Like, if the movie started, I just peek your head in. I literally am I'm one of the first things you see in the movie. And they were like, sorry, we don't like if the movie started, you're not allowed in here.
Wow.
So we went home.
Did you ever forgive your father?
Huh?
You ever forgive your father?
No. Oh my God. No.
Every Thanksgiving you say, I'm thankful for my dad, but I'm not really thankful that he made me miss my own premiere.
I'm so much cooler. You must be very nice to your parents. I'm just like so mean to my dad. Like I'm thankful for me because now I'm never late for anything. Dad.
I learned from the best.
That's great.
I love my dad. I don't think, you know, I think at the time, like, again, like you just, sometimes you don't apprate stuff until it's too late. I think at the time I was like, want to go get some pizza? Because right next to the theater is actually my favorite pizza in LA called La Monica's New York Pizza. Ooh. So we got some La Monica's, me and my dad, we like cheers with pizza. And we were like, you know what, man, like, you know, forget the ego. Don't worry about whatever you're missing. Like you got to do the experience, and that's even more important.
Wow, man!
Being on such an iconic movie like that, it's hard for me to fathom. And I had no idea that you weren't originally, you and a bunch of kids, right, weren't originally in the movie.
I think I can't remember. Yeah, like me, Krista, and a couple others were not a part, but there were some kids who were a part of the original cast. And so I don't remember. I mean, you know, it's so long ago. I don't remember exactly who or who wasn't.
Brie Larson, one of the originals.
I think she was actually.
Yeah, she fit that role pretty well.
Yeah, she's amazing. I remember it's funny because I've run into her a bunch growing up, and she always just made me so nervous because she's very tall and pretty. And so like I just always remember meeting her and just being like so nervous. But she was really sweet on set. And my friend Alexandra also was really sweet on set. And I think they just really enjoyed reliving the experience. Remember, as kids, we were all just having a lot of fun. Yeah. And wow, I'm getting flooded with memories. I remember when we did the dance sequence in the basement.
Oh yeah.
Like everybody was having a really good time. Like, just like putting on Depeche Mode and just like rocking out. And like everybody was rocking out. Like the camera was on me, but everybody's there. And
they didn't seem like they were having a good time, Sean.
I know. Well, little does everybody know, dancing's for everyone. It's true. Nobody's going to hear that music on that day and not dance.
Man, was there a bunch of improv? Were you able to do any improv on that set? Because to me, it just looks seamless, and there you don't miss a beat between anybody on it. You know, it looks like you guys are just being each other out there. Were you able to improv at all on it?
I don't remember specifically. Maybe a couple of cools. And I do. If the only real improv I remember is just eating so many razzles. And then when I was done, production sent me an entire box. We're talking like a 40-pound box of razzles.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Whoo. I tried to get some today. I actually couldn't find any, so sorry.
They were great at the time. They're okay now. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
They're 80s candy.
It's so weird, but yeah, it's really true about a lot of candy. You know, I used to love different candy, you know, when I was a kid, and now I'm just like, I wouldn't touch it.
Yeah, we realize now how bad it is, you know, what's all in it.
Bad for your teeth.
Yeah. From 13 going on 30, man, I like we said, the hour we have, or hour 15, it's never enough. What happens?
We did one movie. We did one movie.
I know, it's crazy. It happens every week. We cannot forget to talk about Goldbergs, because it is the TV show version of the Frick and Frack Show in my mind. It's a callback to a better time, right? I mean, let's just jump there now. Let's go there. How do you end up on the Goldbergs?
This is a good story. Great question. Okay, so
ready.
I got a call from my manager, and she was like, "Hey, Sean, I'm sending you an audition. Take a look at it. Ignore the breakdown." I was like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Casting just wants to see you. They just need someone to be funny. So just do your best at just making this your own and quirky and funny." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then, of course, the first thing I did was read the breakdown. Like, someone's like, "Don't push the red button," and you just immediately smash it. Or they're even done saying, "Don't push the red button." Like, it's smashed. And so as she was talking to me on the phone, I was just reading the email and then going like, "Oh." And all I remember is the breakdown said, like, I can't even remember the name of the character. It just said tall, blonde-haired, blue-eyed band nerd. Oh, wow. Handsome band nerd. Okay.
There you go.
And I am like a shorter, I'm an average height, stout, chocolate brown-eyed, brown-haired, like kind of funny, not so handsome guy. Like, I'm cute. I'll give myself that. And I remember reading this breakdown and going like, I guess I really do have to ignore this. Okay. And I remember reading about the series, and then immediately like going to watch like 4 or 5 episodes and seeing like, oh, so it's like big, high energy. It's really fun. It's family comedy. And then I read the sides, and there were 2 scenes. One of them was working with my good friend Haley, who plays Erica Goldberg on the show, where this like character shows up, hits on her in front of Jeff Garlin or dad. And so I just remember thinking like, oh, cool. So I just have to kind of be a little creepy, but obviously not too creepy because it's a family show. And so like, all right, let me just see if I can be uncomfortably confident, which plays in. And then I did one thing I thought was really funny that I think casting really liked. And then there was a second scene where it's like a follow-up scene where Johnny Atkins ends up hitting on Erica Goldberg, and then reveals that he's got a third date to the like homecoming. And so that whole scene, I was like, oh, this is really funny. Again, it's just like sometimes like the Steve Carell school of comedy is the best way to do humor, which 100%. Is not acknowledging that anything around you is funny. It's all very real.
That is amazing.
I was like, I'm just gonna do that. I think most actors may make the mistake of getting the note from their manager and be like, just go in there and be as funny as you can. And then you're like improving and you're doing big energy and you're just missing the mark. When the funniest thing you can do is just go in there and be like, yeah, we're gonna go to the prom together, me, you, and her. And her? I mean, what do you mean not and her?
Okay, I remember.
When did you not figure that out? You know, it's like that's kind of what I did for the second scene. But I do remember in the first scene, as like, you know, you go in, you meet casting. Leslie and Tawny are so amazing. I'm like their biggest fans. I adore them. And they, you know, it's the casting experience I miss in COVID, where like you do multiple takes, they throw stuff at you, they have fun, they're giggling with you. It's like you're performing with a team, you know. And I went in and like I remember like we're like your fake knock on a door, you like open a door, and then they're playing Jeff Garland's character, and then Erica Goldberg's supposed to be coming down these stairs. So you're just like faking it all. And I just remember as she like fake came down the stairs, I went, and I just like grunted, which is just like it's like borderline inappropriate, you know what I mean? But it's also so funny to do in front of dad. And so they ended up like Goldberg later on was like, okay, that was too inappropriate, but we're gonna give you like a zang. And so like that's what we ended up doing instead, which hits the same beat, just not nearly as offensive. And so I remember like I think that was the key. And so I like did the audition. I had a great time with casting, and then I think as an actor you just forget stuff. You got to move on real quick. You can't think about like, oh, what will happen? Will I hear back? Because then it's just a pool of anxiety, wondering if you'll ever work again. So I forgot about it, and then I got a phone call like a week later, and they were like, "Hey, so they want you to work on the Goldbergs. You got the part. You got to show up like Wednesday. You're going to do like a dress rehearsal, and they're going to put like they're going to do wardrobe fitting, and then I guess they want to do a makeup test on you." And I was like, "A makeup test? Oh, maybe they're going to make me blonde with blue eyes."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So, and then I get on set, okay, and I walk into the makeup trailer, and they're like, "Hey, you're Johnny Atkins," and that wasn't the character name at the time. And I was like, I think you got me confused. And they were like, no, you're Johnny Atkins. Have you seen the new script? And I was like, no. And they go, cool, don't worry about it. Sit down in the makeup chair. We're going to put a ponytail on you.
Don't worry about it.
Wow. And I was like, yeah, don't worry. I was like, I'm getting a ponytail? What? I was like, are you guys about to dye my hair and give me contacts or something? And they're like, what? No, you're getting really thick glasses and ponytail. Don't you know what you're doing? I was like, I'm lost. Somebody help. So then they pull up it was Bonnie Flowers, who's still doing the makeup for the season today. She's a close friend. I really adore her. She's so sweet and incredible and talented and lovely. And she's like my safe space whenever I'm on set. She knows that too. She's so adorable. And Bonnie like pulled up this picture, this like video that she was sent from the producers of the actual Johnny Atkins from the 80s, pulling a saxophone out of his trunk. And he's got big, thick glasses and a ponytail. Real John Atkins, to this day, still rocks the ponytail and rocks really hard in his band. And we're buddies too. We actually just went to a Dodgers game a couple months ago. And so it was like really full circle. So I saw this and I was like, this is amazing. This is magic. And then, of course, when I got to set, started rehearsing, Adam Goldberg himself came down, which is like always a big deal, right? Like I knew him, but he also, you know, it was from years prior, and he's the showrunner. He's a bigwig. He's technically your boss. Yeah. And so he came on and he explained where John Atkins came from. And he goes, dude, we had this idea for a character. And then when I saw your casting tape, I was like, that's my buddy Johnny. We got to have Sean play Johnny. Wow. Because everything you did kind of lent yourself to it. And so that's where the character was kind of born. It was just, he pulled it from his life when he saw tape. And it was all like it's like sometimes we aren't just in a simulation. We're in a perfect matrix. Like all the stars align.
It's incredible.
And then, you know, and then the funny thing too about that is you really think, here's the focus on the camera. The crazy thing is like, I assumed it was like one day. I was only supposed to work one day. And then it ended up being, gosh, how many years has it been?
6, 7?
6 years.
Yeah. It's been like 50 episodes.
And I one of my proudest moments was probably day one when I met Jeff Garland and we did rehearsals on the stoop of the house on set in Sony. and he just started like riffing with me. He started improvising with me. Like the scene ended 4 or 5 dialogue lines in, and then he just kept talking to me while they were rolling the cameras, and I just kept talking back, and then he just kept going, and I was like, in my head, I was like, this dude's testing me, but I'm just gonna play dumb because all the character needs to be is dumb. And then like everybody started laughing, like, all right, cut. You clearly you guys can do this forever. And then he was like, you're funny, Sean. And I was like, oh, thank you. and then I was like, well, that was really fun. And I just never expected that I would come back. And then sure enough, you get a phone call like, hey, they really enjoyed you. You want to come back? And they got some ideas for you. And then here we are 6 years later and like still having fun and still having magic. And like, dude, the coolest experience of my career so far. 13 Going on 30 was special, but being a part of the Goldbergs, their production, their crew, their cast, it's really special.
Dude, I'm so upset that we're at 50 minutes already. Okay, so Adam Goldberg is a story that fascinates me. When I first started watching the show, like I started looking into it because I was reading the credits, and then the videos that are always after were home videos, and I was like, hold up, wait a minute, like there's got to be more to this. He is a phenomenal person. I mean, just to take all that, like he always wanted to be what he is, right? He always wanted to be what he is, and to create a show that's not just a callback to the decade, but to his life. And then the amazing cast is just mind blowing to me. What's it like being on set with those guys? And then always coming in at a later time. Did you just kind of fit right in with those guys?
Oh gosh. So I think now, many years later, right, and having kind of gotten to know Adam better as a person, and you know, he knows my brother too, and he's just a good person. It's a different perspective now. Like in the beginning, I was just really like, you're always a little nervous. You just want to make sure you're like, at least from my, a lot of actors I think approach things more confidently, but I always come from a place of like small child Sean from his child acting days of like, I just want to make sure I get my lines right and I don't fart. And so at first it was just making sure that you keep the ship sailing, that you're not in the way, that you're just complimenting everyone around you. When you're a supporting character, like I always think like you are actually just there to support. Don't go out your way trying to improv unless someone asks. This show is so well oiled and so brilliantly taken care of that like if you thought you had a funny idea, the writers already did. They went through it 30,000 times. And if you think that there should be an alt somewhere or an ad or an improv, they actually already debated it, thought about it, and may have it on hand and surprise you when you get to set. And so that's like one aspect of it. It's just like performing wise, like you just try to do what's required, nothing more, nothing less, and not get in the way because you're a support. You're not like there to run anything, like to be the captain of the ship, so to speak. And then the other side of that is, I think, and I've said this to people before too, like in maybe not on a podcast, but like the Goldbergs production, we're talking from Adam Goldberg down to like your PAs who are there for a day or two to get their DGA days. Like it's such a family. Everyone that's been there for years, everyone really treats each other with respect and love and is having fun. And it's rare. Like I got a flood of memories, right, of all these different shows you go on, especially like cop procedural shows. Like everyone's kind of miserable. No one's very nice to you. You get yelled at as an actor. You show up for 2 days and everyone's kind of mean to you. Like, get on your mark. Why don't you sit still, guy? You're like, I'm a person. Oh my god. Okay. You're like basement. They're just like, just move your head, nod the thing. Say the words like this. Okay, now get off my set. You're like, oh my god, this is terrible. Like that's a lot of the experience as an actor. Whereas here it was just like, hey, like welcome, man. Let's have some fun.
Wow.
And I think my energetic personality really fit with everyone. And I think it's always really surprising for people to learn what a goofball I am. Because like that Johnny, and you know, at first it's like he sits very still. He's got just like funny, like he's got his glasses. He's always hitting on everybody. And one of my favorite directors, David, like he would always like he coined, or it is a term that's coined, but I hadn't heard it before because I'm not educated. And he coined Johnny Atkins up and down, checking people out, elevator eyes. And so like I always just elevatorize to like get into character. I just even like it doesn't matter what gender you are. I'm just gonna look you up and down, size you up. It's something that he does. And so like as I kind of moved from that character to myself, who's like I'm more open, I'm friendly, I like telling stories and sharing and eating food. I'm always hanging out at Crafty. Most actors, when they're done filming or rehearsing, will go back to their trailers and like take private time to recharge. Whereas like Brian Callen, I will sit on set and just have fun with people. Like it gives me energy. Like I like that life force. And so that fit. I like got really lucky that I didn't annoy people and I didn't upset anyone and I was really accepted. And then it very quickly became hard to be away because if you're doing the thing that you love to do, you're passionate about it. I think the biggest thing I've learned from the Goldbergs too, from when I was first there until now, is that like there's something really special about family driven shows and the morality behind the messaging. Like it's great to make people laugh. It's great to make people cry. But when you can like really bring people together, it's like so rewarding.
Yep.
And like I can name a few projects in my life that I was like, I'm just doing this for the money. You know, I gotta make a living too. And so this is different where it's like I'm really happy to be there and tell stories. And like we did a Pokemon episode on Schooled, and I didn't like my character didn't even touch the Pokemon, but I just hung out on set every day being like, I just want to watch. I love Pokemon.
Wow, that's awesome, man. It's you know, it's what you would call a passion project. And you know, a big part of that is the energy that's on set. Because like you said, you know, you've gone to and done some things and people are yelling and people are just angry. You know, I've been on a couple movie sets in my life, and I think I've been scarred enough to get away from that. Cause man, I was on a movie set with, I think it was Rob Reiner. I think he was directing the movie and they were like 11 or 12 days behind schedule. It was almost 2 weeks behind schedule. And he started taking his frustration out on the background people, you know, and that was the last time I've been on a movie set. I think that was the last one I did. And I was okay never doing it again after that, because I understand the stress, but you know, it's so great that you guys are in a great, and I'm sure there's stressful times with them too, but you know, overall the environment is, you know, just very safe haven in a way, you know?
Yeah, I like the Goldbergs production in particular is so special. It's rare. It's like I don't even know if it'll ever. I hope the show never ends, because going anywhere else,
us too,
it's hard. Because it's so like I haven't seen any moments like that. I've been there a long time, and like that doesn't like it's good that you like brought that up. It's like most people might not know or think about the amount of pressure that goes into making sure you finish on time. Like there's so much money at stake. Like this is a very expensive show on a very expensive network. You get 4 or 5 days to crank out an episode, and you don't ever want to come out and do reshoots, because like it means they lose something somewhere else. And so it's like it's so much pressure. But this is the one production I've been a part of that like they just make sure that the actors don't feel that way. And there are stressful days, but never in that kind of toxic nature. And I've been so lucky to be a part of it, because like I've been on sets on those days, and I'm like I actually like get really riled up when people are like not cool, and so like, you know, like especially when you're like not the lead of the project, you can't just like, tell a director like, hey bro, don't talk to someone like that. You know what I mean? But like I actually might. And so like sometimes I have to like in the moments in my life where I've been seeing stuff like that happen, and I go to the other actors and I'm like, dude, I'm freaking out. I want to fight this person.
Man.
I'm a nice guy, but I don't like bullies. I really don't like bullies. I got bullied a lot, and I learned very early on that like if you punch a bully right in their mouth, even if they knock you out, they don't bully you again.
That is very true.
Like, there's been so many bullies that like I punched and they were like, nice bro, we can be friends now, and I was like, oh great, I'm glad we can be friends.
I'll go see my dinos.
It's
you know,
it's crazy the people that we talk about the way that the set and the characters and everybody's like a family. end up being our favorite shows. I mean, the last
Yeah.
3 people we've had on that were actors talked about how great the environment was. And you see it on camera, man. You can tell when people are having fun. It just seems easy, you know?
Yeah, I can't speak highly enough about like the entire cast. Like I'm close with Haley,
Yeah.
I'm close with Shawnee G, Kenny Ridwan, who plays Dave Kim. Like
Yeah.
he's like a really good buddy. I love him to death. And it's funny because like there's such an age gap, but I know what it's like to grow up with people way older than you.
Yeah.
So I find it really easy to stay friends with people way younger, and there's so much to learn from each other. And like we go on trips together and stuff and hang out. And I'll tell you guys a fun story about that. Like Sam Lerner, Matt Bush, Noah Monk, Shane Top, one of my close friends, Alex Jennings. She plays Carla. I mean, she's absolutely wonderful. Her husband, who's a writer and director, William Stribling, is a really good friend. All these people are like so special to me. And I'm so grateful to like have a relationship with them after the show. It makes it really easy and fun to be creative when you're there. I did this fun thing over the summer where I got as many, everyone's got lives and stuff. So I got as many of them as I could and some other personal friends to Vegas for my 33rd birthday. And I threw a Survivor themed Vegas birthday where I played Jeff Probst over 3 days. And I made I got 30 people to Vegas, to play a Survivor themed, like competitive series of games. And like, I'm not like a drinker and I don't like gambling, but Vegas seemed like a really crazy place to bring a bunch of people who like clearly are not into those things. And like, especially Shawnee G, who is the sweetest. Sean is the sweetest kid on earth. And like, I just like seeing him when he got to Vegas, just being overwhelmed by like all the lights. And, don't worry, buddy. We're going to the hotel room and we're going to play like weird games at the pool. I got you. Like that was really fun. And like over 3 days, I got everybody playing like these really silly games, like trivia stuff. And like, it was so insane. And it was really like a fun, weird bonding thing that like, I like to keep going. Cause I like the Goldbergs, like I like themes. I like adventure. I like stuff that you can remember by. And like, you know, getting that many creative people. And then one person did win. And depending on how much you were drinking, you either won an IV drip or a massage. And my friend Zoe, who won, doesn't drink. So she was like, cool, I'll take a massage. So she got a massage for winning Survivor.
That's not bad whatsoever. I mean, I was expecting a cash prize, but that'll work too.
Well, there were elements like in the game where people had to do like a little silly gambling, and then like whatever you won, you won. But I didn't want
cool.
like, yeah, you don't want to bring people to a place and like have them spend more money than like anybody who showed up was already spending money.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Like, let's be chill.
Yeah, we've actually been to Vegas, both of us. We haven't been together, but we went over there, and I'm gonna tell you, Vegas was definitely a strange and crazy place, man. I didn't like it at all. I did not enjoy it. I think less than 48 hours later, I was back on a plane going home. But I went to go see the Backstreet Boys, man.
Awesome.
they had done their residency, and it was my first time seeing them. And I said, I told my girlfriend, I said, hey, I booked a flight. We have like, you know, a couple weeks and we're going to Vegas. And she's like, why are we going to Vegas? You know, I was like, that's where the Backstreet Boys is doing this big residency, larger than life residency. And, you know, that was amazing, but everything else, no, man.
Yeah. It's not for all. Like, look, I think the honest nature too is like, I'm involved with lots of family stuff. Like I've got, you know, a whole wacky, like dark comedy side of my adult life too. It's like, I'm not like a degenerate by any means.
Yeah.
But like, I also I do like poker. I do like a little blackjack. I was a bartender for many years when I was like 20 to 25. And so 21 to 25. And so like I do like to have some cocktails. I don't go crazy, but like I like sometimes I like Vegas and sometimes I don't. like this time around, like when you get to host it and create the adventure.
So that would have been actually fun. You know, versus us going and we're not drinkers or gamblers at all. So like, you know, like someone told me, they're like, well, what are you doing in Vegas? And I'm like, trying to leave. You're waiting on my flight because I'm ready to go home.
I took everybody to Top Golf and I made them play Angry Birds Top Golf. And I think maybe 2 of the 30 people actually play golf. So it was just like a nightmare. And balls is flying everywhere. The neighbors in the other booths are like, "Oh my god!" It's like a bunch of actors trying to play sports. It's like we look like we know how, but none of us do.
You were method acting.
Yeah, it's so much fun, man. I'm a maniac. It's so cool.
Sean, so maybe the toughest question yet. Knowing what you know now, with all these years later behind you, what's a piece of advice you would give your younger self?
Ooh. Next time I'm going to ask for a list of prepared questions.
No, this is our favorite part. This is our favorite part. I love this part, and I always try to bring it up.
The only thing that's really coming to mind right now is like, just get out of your own head.
Yeah.
I think that's like the coolest advice you can give, because a large part of my career, like, I read this really amazing book by Questlove, from the Roots, about creativity and productivity and kind of the marriage between the two. And I think until the last couple of years, I had always kind of, the bulk of my career, maybe I'm not that proud of. Maybe some really beautiful spots like 13 Going on 30 and the Goldbergs, but like a lot of the stuff in between, you just find like maybe you're not that proud of. Maybe it's not that successful, or just I didn't like the person I was at that time. And in his book, he talked a lot about similarities, even though he's a musician. And it really helped me look at my previous 30 years as sort of an apprenticeship, where I can start to think now into my 30s and going forward. I'm really starting to look at my career from my own, I wouldn't say masterwork, but whatever's after apprenticeship, going forward. And so if I look back at my younger self, I would just tell that person to get out of your own head and think more about others. Like sometimes like the best way to be good at any job is just to be of service to others. And that's like that's truly what an actor's job is just to be of service to others.
Yeah.
And so that's it. I think it's just, that's what I would say. Get out of your own head and do things for other people more.
Wow. If half the people on this planet, or even in this country, would think that way, I mean, I guess we all have to go through our hills and valleys, and, to become the people we are. I dang sure, at 33 now, looking back, even when I was 18, 19, 20, 25, like not even close to the man I am, not anywhere near who I wanted to be. And I'm still not, but it a lot further than what I was. I can't imagine growing up in the spotlight, man. It absolutely blows my mind and fascinates me to talk to people like you who are so grounded. It's the only way I can put it. Humble, grounded, I don't know, appreciative. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, look, after this, I'm going to go get in my golden car and drive back to my golden toilet. And I'm going to take pictures of myself in front of a room of just mirrors of just me.
That's awesome, man.
I actually for all that talk about get out of your head, bro. Like, I'm going to go back in my car and drive home and man, did I say the right things? Did I embarrass myself? What could I have done better? Was I charming? I don't know. Does it matter to be charming? I don't know. Like, this is how I'm so neurotic.
Oh man, that's just the acting side of you, man.
I gotta call my buddy Connor Paolo, who's a really amazing actor, and I'm gonna call him and just like, dude, you got to talk me through a meditation right now. He's always trying to get me to do transcendental meditation, which I don't believe in. I don't think it's real. I think it's all made up.
I think it's pretty nuts.
Help me breathe.
Yeah, they prescribe inhalers for that nowadays,
Yeah.
Gosh.
I do want to ask. We had Katrina in here who wanted to ask you a question, and I thought it was really good because we didn't ask this. But what's your favorite part or scene that you did in 13 Going on 30?
Hi, Katrina. What is my favorite scene? I think it's a two-part question: to watch or to perform.
Yep.
I'm going to say to perform was when Maddie and Jenna are walking down when me and Krista were like walking down the street in front of the big house, and I'm holding that little camera because I think as an actor, I've always really enjoyed just walking and talking.
Wow.
Because it feels so natural. Like, again, like I have a really hard time sitting still to this day. And so for me to just be able to walk and talk and play with a thing, like it just, I remember that like the back of my hand. It was really rewarding. And then to watch, I think the Barbie doll house scene, but the end where we get to kiss and everybody's like in love and everything's so sweet and charming. I just think it's really, it's good messaging, man. It's good movie stuff. I'm like, I, as a fan, when you go to watch the movie, you're like, yeah, that's awesome. You're like, you're rooting for these characters. Like, that's the hallmark of a good director and a good script. It's like, you're rooting for these main characters and finally go back in time and she picks the winner. And lucky me, I guess maybe in 5 years' time, I'll grow into Mark Ruffalo and I'll be better looking. I don't know.
You're almost there. You're looking a little more like Bruce Banner right now. So
sweet.
You're getting there, man. You know, it's another thing, man, because 13 going on 30, you know, I don't think anyone's really, you know, there's a lot of movies that are like forgotten today, you know, after a couple of years, but you know, for people, especially our age, 13 going on 30 was such a huge thing. And they don't really make movies. And I watch a lot of movies, you know, and they really don't make good hearted movies the way, you know, that era in the early 2000s, you know, like 13 going on 30, you know.
I talk about this a lot with friends. Like, has anyone, you guys been going to AMC lately, AMC theaters?
I mean, I watch every movie that comes out pretty much, but I haven't been at AMC in a while.
Have you guys seen the Nicole Kidman AMC theaters advertisement? Have you guys seen this?
No.
Okay, so in all the new movies in AMC, there's like this weird advertisement where Nicole Kidman, as like the ambassador for AMC now, walks into an empty theater and then just like boasts or like I don't know, not boasts, like sells AMC to you, the audience, and then she like talks about like, you come to the theater and you watch all your movies where you can laugh and cry and feel things, and then she goes AMC, and then she breaks the fourth wall and looks into the camera and goes, we make movies better. And then I was like, this, I don't even know if that's Nicole Kidman. That might be an algorithm who just decided everybody loved her enough to put her in the advertisement. And now that's how movies are made. It's all just algorithms. The computer system is trying to figure it out. And that's why we don't get such wholesome movies anymore. They're very few and far between.
That's so
studio
strange.
money is all funneled into math.
Yep. That I would definitely say maybe that's actually correct. I mean, and you know,
I also, just for the sake of it, I want those same computers to hire me for things, for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Man. Why not? Why not? I mean,
I want to be the face of AMC. Who's like, AMC, we make movies better. We make you better. Give us your secrets. We will reprogram your life. It's so weird, guys.
I'm gonna go watch that and probably put it on repeat, you know, in my theater room, because that's gonna be really entertaining for sure.
No, bro. We just found our Instagram clip of the episode right there. You did great.
Oh yes.
Yes.
We'll tag AMC. We'll tag Regal.
Bro.
We'll tag.
I really wish I prepared like a better Australian accent. I'll take the bad one. I did.
Oh, we'll tag Nicole too. Why not?
Sick.
Bro, you talked about before we went on. I'm sorry to keep it, but this interests
no, keep me.
You had talked about before we went on, like the meta world and all that, and now again we're talking about algorithms. How does a show like Goldbergs in School that's on ABC, when everything else is streamed or podcast, or I mean, yeah, you can get anything you want online, but somehow Goldbergs in School just keep finding a way? What do you think it is to that, man?
I want to go. I've thought a lot about that, and I think that there's something to be said for the family culture of like, it's a show you can watch with your kids. And I think most parents like me, I'm not a parent, but if I was, are concerned about too much electrical content. Like, there is something satisfying to having like a little bit of tube time when TVs were still on a tube. And like, you do it together, and there's a reason why you do that. It actually, like, it helps bridge the gap between you and your kid. It's like, if you're rebelling against your mom because she loves you too much, it's like, oh, well, here's Beverly Goldberg and Wendy McLendon-Covey to show you like that this is actually extremely normal and really wholesome and lovely and funny and charming and like sometimes really difficult, but also it's supposed to be this way. And like that's kind of, I think, the reason why it's still there is because it does come from Adam Goldberg's genius, like boyhood love of film and cinema, when telling a story was not about making money. It was about like sharing experience, which like may not be the case with modern content.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I love Marvel movies. Don't get me wrong. I'm a huge nerd. Because it's like my comic books coming to life. But like sometimes these movies don't have shared experience because they're so wildly unrealistic. Like they're not I'm not gonna walk outside and have to watch Superman fight aliens in the sky. Like that's not it has no purpose for my life. But like if I'm struggling to stay connected to my kid or I'm struggling to stay connected to my mom, like it might be really fun to have a discussion around like how difficult it was to like bring her flowers today, or like how embarrassing it was to have her show up at school and talk to all my friends about the weird, like lovey-dovey name she gives me. Wendy one day on set did this for improv. I don't know if they put it in the show, but like she looked at Shawnee G and she was like, "Do you need to make?" Like, I was like, it's so uncomfortably funny and embarrassing. But like everyone can really identify with that. I'm like, that's like, you know, I think that's why the show does really well. And that's where it comes. And I want to give credit to every writer in the writer's room on the show because there's so many and they all deserve it. And so, yeah, I just like, I hope that's at least, you know what, if I'm wrong, don't tell me I'm wrong.
No, I don't want to be right. You know, if that's wrong, I don't want to be right. That's a perfect answer, really.
It's really about realism, though. You know, especially like you said, when someone can relate to a situation. You know, I mean, there's a couple. I know, like, you know, like This Is Us. You know, is another one that a lot of people can relate to. It's such a heartbreaking show to watch because you know, one episode is good, the next episode, everything just is you know, destruction has happened in their lives, but like there's so much realism with these kind of shows, and it's not many today. It's really not many, but the ones that are like the Goldbergs and This Is Us, and you know, there's shows today that try to do what, you know, these have already accomplished. But, you know, sometimes it's a bit far-fetched with what they're doing. And it's like, okay, I could relate to this with this. And no, you know, it's a bit out there. But, you know, the Goldbergs were, you know, all these seasons, man. I'm on season 3, if I had to say. Season 3.
Awesome.
Maybe like episode 4 or something like that.
It's great. You're like just getting to Johnny Atkins.
Yes. So like I'm trying. I literally just discovered Goldbergs, man. I've never heard of it until about maybe in June or July was when I started. And I was like, because people were telling me about it, and I was like, well, I'll put it on my list, my watch list. And when I don't know why I started watching it, but I was like, let me go ahead and watch it. And whenever I'm caught up in my TV shows, I love watching something else, starting something new. And it's very rare I start anything new, but the Goldbergs, you know, it's one show that really has you attached. You know, it's like The Office for me. You know, I can watch it nonstop from start to finish. But you know,
yeah, I remember when I first started watching it because I remember you got to watch a few episodes to get your head around the show, and then when you get to set, I was so nervous to meet Troy, who plays Barry, because I actually think he's so unique and so funny. I haven't talked about him enough on this, but like he's so unique and funny, and he's like, and in person too, like he's very much his own person, and like that's what you look for. That's what you look for in a lead, and like him together with Shawnee G and like the whole family with Haley and Wendy and Jeff, like they're like it's cool, man. Like I got very lucky to be involved. I don't know if everyone knows. Like I ride like you guys. I think we're all really big fans of cinema here. It's like I'm as much a fan as I am participant. And sometimes it's like it's bad. Sometimes it's like not a good thing. Like, like sometimes you have to be more professional, but I can't stop sweating.
Yeah, I mean, you know, go ahead, man.
I think Jeff did stand up, right?
Garland?
Yeah, the dad.
Yeah. Oh my
Like
God.
I just found that out as I was finishing. I'm blown away because I knew he was funny, but God, man, he's hilarious.
He's been a comic his whole life.
Wow.
And I remember actually he did a cool residency in Burbank out here in LA for a while. And I would go see him and Troy would come with me. And we went and saw him more than a few times. And he does crowd work, which is like a very specific kind of comedy that like you got to be real on your toes and funny to just meet people in a crowd and riff and have a good time. And for him, he's been doing it so long and he's so used to like, it's a personality persona thing we were talking about earlier where it's like, that's a part of the game. And like, he's been doing it so long to watch him work with people and then get a read on people and then like kind of play with them and then move seamlessly into a joke, but then back to another thing. It's like masterwork, man. Yeah. He's like a big mentor and like, I'm sure he knows, but maybe he doesn't like how much I look up to him. And I just always, like, every time I see him, he's always so nice to me. And I'm always like, it's so rewarding to have Jeff. He's so nice, man. Like, he's such a cool dude. It's so funny. And I don't, maybe you've noticed I like lean heavy into comedies. Like I really get a kick out of all this stuff. And like, I have tried my hand at stand up and you have a lot more bad nights than you do good nights.
That's
but it's
true.
certainly something that I'm always thinking about.
Wow. I don't know if I'd be able to do stand up. I'm pretty good at moving a crowd. I've always been, since I was a kid, very young kid, I can always move a crowd with words or action.
Huge.
But stand up, nah, I don't know. I mean, everyone, especially in the acting business, you have to learn how to face rejection. And I haven't faced that yet.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of it. I think with anything creative, you guys ever watch Brene Brown? You know who she is?
Yeah.
Yeah, she talks a lot about that,
sure
like
does.
conquering the fear and having the courage to move through your fear, because anything worth doing requires a lot of fear and rejection and criticism.
Oh yeah.
It's like when I'm alone and I'm really doubting my career and my path, I just watch Brene Brown. And she just every time I've had a bad stand-up set, I'll just go watch her and like I'm just gonna watch her TikTok and feel better about all the bad jokes tonight.
I just watched The Office and Michael Scott. I'm like, okay, if he can do it, I can do it, right?
What an incredible actor!
Everybody's anti-hero. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He that guy can just run the gambit, man, of comedy and dramas. Like he was in this. He was in this movie not too long ago. I think it was a couple of years ago where he got jumped, I think, and he collects these toys. I can't remember what it's called. He makes this town.
Marlon's Way, Marlon something.
Oh, that's one of the very few Carell movies I have not seen.
Bro, incredible.
Is it
It
good?
was hated by a lot.
It
was hated by a lot because it was different. It was kind of hard to watch. It wasn't a feel good movie. He was basically
with sad movies. I do.
It's sad.
Yeah, it is because he had got jumped and basically his escape was through his toys.
Yeah.
And his imagination of living through his toys coming to life and scenarios happening. And it was really different. It was a lovely movie. Of course, Steve Carell is just anything he does is, he's brilliant. He really is. But that's a good movie. I definitely suggest you watching it, man.
Great. I will. And one of my favorite movies is Dan in Real Life. It's in my top 3. And like one of the great movies where it's just like too real. Like
when people keep repeating.
Oh, thank you, dude. Oh my God. I bought a guitar just so I can learn how to play that. I've never learned how to play it.
So that's why I started playing guitar and I got to about 30 minutes on YouTube. I said, I quit.
Exactly. I was like, it's a lot harder. When I did as Johnny Atkins, they always have me play a sax, and I bought a saxophone to learn how to play. And after 6 hours and 3 lessons later, I gave up, dude. I actually just gave up. I was like, saxophone in particular is way harder than other instruments.
Oh, I mean, I just looked at Carell's hands and I was like, I strummed it. I said, "Nah." I said, "I have the only key to your heart."
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great movie, man.
I also not only do I love him as an actor, but I love that man's hairline. I don't know where he got it or how he got it, but I want Steve Carell's hairline so bad.
Which one? The one that was in season 1 of The Office?
No, that hairline now, man. If you guys
Yeah.
know the wizard who like crafted the spell and drank the potions and enchanted his head, please someone tell me. I want that hairline.
Especially with his age, it's incredible.
Yeah.
He's one, I always look at him in interviews whenever he doesn't dye his hair, he looks so different. But then like 7 years later, he does a movie and he dyes his hair black again. And it's like, he de-aged himself by 40 years, He
just is true to the character whenever he does something. It's really hard to do.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever seen this movie.
I want to be. I'm trying.
Look, I don't know. I don't know if I can ever be anything like Steve Carell. I don't know if I will even try, but he had done this movie with Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet, actor of The Acting.
Yes, that dude right there.
Next icon of the film industry.
I mean,
Timothy Chalamet.
I'm pretty sure that's him. That dude. I mean, everything he's touched is like, whoa.
It's like, I wonder if he's so appealing because he's also so non-threatening. It's like because he's 2D, we all love him. Like he's both masculine and sexy, but also safe because he couldn't hurt you. I just love talking about Timothy Chalamet. I like hope to meet him one day. I hope he's not offended by all of the lore he's created, like just existing. He stepped out of a too tall vertical.
Yeah. I mean, he just appeared, like I told someone the other day, he just appeared on Earth because it's like he had like, hit after hit after hit, but he had done this movie, man, with Steve Carell called A Beautiful Boy. And it's oh my goodness. It was one of the most heartbreaking movies I've ever seen in one of the most realistic,
I couldn't get through it. I think like most people, we like all of us or the majority of us have substance abuse somewhere in their family. And so it got too close to home, man.
Me too.
I was like, I can't do it.
I watched it like 10 times, but now, yeah. I mean, he's going to be the next Willy Wonka, man. He's doing the prequel.
What? There's a prequel to Willy Wonka?
You should see him in costume.
It's gonna be wild. Looks good. Looks really good.
Does it? I don't know how I feel about this, guys.
Check it out.
Imagine Timothy Chalamet in a suit, in the hat. There you go.
He's so wonderful.
Look, we're gonna spend the next 30 minutes admiring Timothy Chalamet's work.
I hope everyone else watching is getting a kick out of this like we are, because this has been fun. And
they will, man. We're gonna re-upload it because I'm pretty sure Facebook is telling me it is blocked again. Got to figure that out. 2 weeks. Yeah, but it's the meta, man.
You're gonna get a message from Nicole Kidman as Zuckerberg, like, this is meta, and we are making your show better. Oh my god! We're all gonna be replaced by like doppelganger A-list actor. Jeremy Piven's gonna come on. Like, here's Sean Marquette, and it's him just performing as me. Like, oh my god, they even got a better version of me.
We're all going to virtual reality, man. So everyone's gonna be replaced. I mean, this thing right here, man. Everyone's replaced.
Oh, you have an Oculus?
I do.
Oh, I love it.
24/7. That's where I live.
It terrifies me. Like I watch a lot of Rogan, dude. I watch a lot of Joe Rogan every week. Yeah. And he, like, the way he explains it, why would you need to go better yourself? Yeah. Why would you need to eat healthier? Especially with COVID, why would you need to go outside? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now Zuckerberg has figured out a way to keep you here. It's crazy.
Look, if Elon Musk starts putting out the brain chip that makes you think faster and be smarter.
Neuralink. Neuralink.
I might take that Neuralink. I'm not gonna.
I will.
Yeah, I like cybernetics. I don't want to be the beta tester. Like, someone else can take the trial version.
Actors are usually first to everything, though, Sean.
I like, if you pay me in pizza, I'll be the guinea pig.
Oh, that's gonna be. I mean, they've already heard that 3 times on this show, so that's right. You will be the first they contact.
Hello, this is Nicole Zuckerberg Musk. We have here for you 6 slices of pizza. Put this chip in your brain.
Oh, my.
Oh, sweet.
He's like, sweet, man. All right. Where from? Pizza Hut. Okay.
Who made this pizza? Ralph. It's number 1 because I said so. Now eat the pizza. That's actually, you're in New York if someone commands you to do something and you just have to do it. Like if someone walks in like, hey, what are you doing? You want a slice of pizza? We'll close. Sit down. I'll make you a pie. You want a calzone? How about a side salad? All right, I'll make it. I was just walking by, man. I didn't even
I've actually faced that quite a few times, especially from hecklers. You want my CD? Take it. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
It's always crazy because I end up taking it, and then Melissa's like, they're going to make you pay for that, right? I'm like, why would they hand it to me then? Why would they say,
sir, I need a donation.
Bro,
yeah. They're
Vegas,
on your
New
guilt.
York, all of them. They're like, hey, you want a picture? I'm like, hell yeah, I want a picture. Take the picture, and they charge you $25 or whatever. It's crazy.
Yeah. And they're like, delete the picture if you don't pay $25. But it's just Elmo and me. Like,
that's a good racket. Hopefully I'll have a career in panhandling if I ever go too unemployed for too long.
It shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be hard, man.
Especially with the ponytail, bro. I expect when you leave your house. By the way, you look completely different. What they do with you in makeup. When he showed me the picture of who we were having on, I'm like, that ain't him. That's not him. Bro, it's wild. You almost look like the older brother from Boy Meets World, Will.
Will Friedle.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
In his younger years, you do. You do.
I always get a kick out of me and Goldberg always make fun of this. They always write me and taking my shirt off, and I have I'm not to show my chest. Like I have a hairy chest. I'm a man. I'm a grown man now.
I'm a man too.
But they always I have to be the joke is that Johnny Atkins will never graduate. So we don't know how old he is, but he's always taking his shirt off to try to fight people. And so I always have to shave my chest, and it happens at least once a year. Wow. And it's the weirdest thing that I have to do because it's the worst. It's an odd experience. It hurts. It's bare. It's not like a trim. I'm not getting sexy like Zac Efron Beachbody. I'm just shaving my chest, and then no one knows that the rug burn like shirt rash I got to deal with.
Ooh,
it's a killer, dude. It's a killer. I hate it.
Yeah. I've never done that because I've never had hair here. So
sick, dude. You have so much less makeup.
Yeah, bro.
It's actually awesome.
Yeah, I envy you.
One of my favorite shows is Queer Eye for the Straight Guy because I really am
I've heard of that.
I love self-maintenance and take care of myself.
Amazing.
I am a big proponent of mental health, and that's part of it.
Yeah.
Bro, if we still had our sponsorship with Manscaped and didn't tell them to kick rocks, we'd send you some Manscaped.
I will actually take you up on that.
We loved it.
I think I got some extra shirts I'll send you.
Yeah.
I wore it one time to church, and they told me, is that really appropriate here? And I was like, what's wrong with it? It just says your balls will save you. Whatever. So,
your balls will thank you.
Your balls will thank you.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, But
I love some good old fashioned lowbrow humor, dude.
To me, I'm just like, what's wrong with it? They will thank you.
The ad reads for those were so great, dude.
Oh,
they were. I don't even know what we're talking about at this point, but I will promise you this: when we did the ad reads, there was about 100 girls in the comments that said Manscaped for a prominently female fan base. Who thought of that? I'm like, that's my bad.
Nice.
That's my bad.
Nice. Well, guys, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed myself here. I've really enjoyed your company. And thanks. I wasn't expecting to relive so many memories. It's weird. I'll be thinking about it for a while.
Good. We definitely thank you for coming on the show, brother. And if there's anything we can do, if you need anything promoted, anything at all, man, just hit us up. We're Frick and Frack Show's an open door for our guests, and we tend to do whatever people need. And just know that we're here for you. We really appreciate you coming out and just spending an hour and 30 minutes with us, man. It's really, really cool, man. It's amazing to meet you. It's amazing watching you go from, all my children to here. long,
Oh, nice. A good callback. That's so true.
long time ago.
Kayla,
But-
Matt, thanks guys. I like yeah, I mean I'll just plug the Goldbergs. Please keep watching Wednesday nights. Yeah, I'm so proud of it. I just did a movie called Better Half with my buddy Connor that'll be coming out hopefully next year. And then I'm trying to think what was the last project I worked on as well. Oh, I am working on a little cartoon that I can't talk about. So hopefully that's coming down the pipeline too. Something me and my buddy created. And yeah, other than that, just come follow me on Instagram and please keep enjoying and watching. Stay in touch. I'm not the most responsive on social media, but I'm going to try to get better. So if you send me a fun question or something silly or unique, I will respond. But any creepy stuff of just like, hey, cutie, not for me. That's weird.
Hilarious.
No one wants to be catcalled in public on a platform where like things don't get deleted.
That's true. That's true, man.
But thanks so much, guys. Stay in touch, man. This was so much fun. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean, we appreciate you, brother. Everybody, this has been episode 67 of the Frick and Frack Show, podcast for the fans, by the fans. Peace.
Yo, it's the Frick and Frack Show, a podcast for the fans, by
This
the
is the
fans.
Frick and Frack Show, a podcast for the fans, by